This ESPN podcast is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com.
The BS Report is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects. The BS Report. The BS Report with Ben Simmons.
We are now in the NFC. We wrapped up the AFC. We're going to the NFC, Sal's favorite division. The division that tortures him every year.
Yeah.
The NFC East. Shocking here. Vegas believes the odds of an NFC East team winning the Super Bowl, any team, you could have all four, 15-1.
Wow. This year or like for the decade?
For the decade, it's probably like 10-1.
Yeah.
15-1 that any team from this division wins the Super Bowl.
That's probably the highest
That's
NFC
the highest.
East. No, but I know for this year, but the highest the NFC East has had.
Oh, like ever?
Yeah, maybe, right? I mean, I'm sure. I don't know if Vegas has followed that. But.
Well, it's funny. They finally figured out that Dallas is never going to win the Super Bowl again with Jerry Jones. Yeah, they finally figured that out.
I'll walk out right now.
The Washington professional football team, the Giants,
yeah,
and then the Eagles, which are like kind of the consensus favorite. Their over-unders are 9 for the Eagles, 8 for the Giants, 7.5 for Washington, 7.5 for Dallas.
Do you know you could bet? I'm not even making a joke. You could bet that the Cowboys win exactly 8 games. They go 8-8, and you get 4-1 odds on it.
Why isn't that like the best bet you could make?
I know. It's like betting the 7 in craps, right?
Romo's got like how many back surgeries?
It's bad. It's like 3 or 4. He wants to have more back surgeries than Manning has next.
Right. Well, I was going to say so Manning had all those neck surgeries, which seemed horrible.
That's how you have to compete in this league.
What's worse, neck or back?
For the rest of your life, I don't know. They're both awful.
Either. One thing's about bad backs is they don't get better.
You can't do it. Baseball, Mattingly's back went out. He didn't hit a guy. Everything goes through the back.
Well, at least he's not getting tackled.
Right. Yeah, it's not going to get tackled. But I will say, they're actually drafting like a responsible football team. They shored up the offensive line. Probably one of the best in the league.
Are we positive Jerry Jones didn't tell them to get Johnny Manziel and they just didn't turn the card in?
Yeah. I don't know. He's so weird with that. Because when it first happened, he said we weren't even thinking Manziel wasn't on our radar. And now he's like, well, it was one of the toughest decisions I had to make, aside from which the strippers to photograph myself with.
I wonder if he's like Donald Sterling, where they just kind of work around him and pretend he owns the team, but there's this whole cabal of people who are actually running everything.
There could be.
And he says stuff like, okay, Jerry, great, we got it. And then they hope he doesn't notice.
The defense is the problem, and it was bad last year, and it's hard to imagine it's going to be worse this year. But
when you say bad, it was 30th out of 32
and they're 32.
DVOA.
Yeah, really bad. And you lose DeMarcus Ware. And Hatcher, who had a career contract year, he's gone. Sean Lee now is out for the year.
Wasn't Sean Lee out for last year?
Yeah, for most of last year, too.
And then DeMarcus Ware is out because he plays for Denver now.
Gone, yeah. They're in trouble defensively. I like what they have with Linehan. I mean, they're going to be fun to watch offensively.
Scott Linehan, the dead guy in the Rams?
That's the guy. He's back.
You're excited to have him run your offense?
I am.
Is he alive?
Good job with Detroit. He's back with Dallas. Watch DeMarco Murray. If you have your fantasy draft yet.
He will not be on my team.
He won't?
No, I've already been down that road with DeMarco.
All right. Oh, that's right. You did have him.
His nickname should be the Red Flag because that's what you see on the website. There's a red flag next to his name at all times. They just put it there. He's not even hurt yet. They just save some time.
You'll see. They're going to be good. Offensively, they'll be good, but...
Offensively, they'll be good. You're going with.
I'm having them right at an 8-win team. They were
the 11th offense last year.
Yeah.
Fifth rush.
It's bad defensively. I hate even thinking about it. 29th against the run, 5-1 against the NFC East. I don't think that's happening again. So I'm going to be optimistic and say 8 wins.
What's your Thanksgiving game?
It is against the Eagles, I believe, and they're at Jacksonville in London.
You're the London game?
Yeah, there's 3 this year.
Jacksonville, Dallas, and London?
Yeah. Isn't that fun?
Why are we antagonizing the British?
This is it.
What a terrible game.
We'll take you throwing all our tea overboard.
Jacksonville versus Dallas.
This is awful.
This will definitely get the Brits into football. Yeah. Here are 2 of our worst teams.
Not good.
So Dallas, 7.5. Minus 175 to go under. That seems like a lock, Sal. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 7.5.
Do you have 5 guys who might make the All-Pro team? Do you have 5 All-Pro candidates?
Yeah, we always do.
Who are the 5?
We always do.
You stammered before.
Romo.
Romo? You think Romo's an All-Pro candidate?
What are you talking about? Of course he is.
Hey,
you're nuts.
Rodgers,
Look at his numbers.
Wilson, Stafford, Nick Foles.
Well, no one plays that game. 3 guys will back out.
I can't even find MVP odds
All
on
right,
Romo.
Des Bryant, Witten.
Des, there you go. All right.
Maybe Carr has a good year at corner.
Are we done?
It's not going to be 5.
Why don't you go the other way and just root for
Go
a really
under?
bad season and rebuild? You're
Well, pick me a
20-1. You're 20-1 to be the worst team.
I know. The problem is I have
Do you like those
I have
odds?
4 hats and 6 shirts and a jacket.
Sometimes you need a Houston Texans season where you're just terrible and you get clowny.
Yeah.
You're 20-1 to be the worst team.
Right.
Is that possible?
The worst team.
You'd be the worst team in the league, 20-1.
The Bills are in the league. We won't have a worse record.
Oakland's plus 360 for worst record.
Yeah. I was thinking
The
that.
good thing for you is everyone else in the division stinks too.
Well, that's the thing. So, if you pick a winner, the winner's 9-7, I think, this year, and I think it's the Eagles.
I like the Eagles. I thought they were.
Yeah.
I thought they were good down the stretch last year. Mm-hmm. They know what they are. They're going to score. They have second-year Chip Kelly.
Right.
Good pace. Defense isn't good. That's the problem.
No, by default, I think they'll win this. And they got Sproles in there, and they work McCoy like no one's business. But
What do you think?
I don't
There's
think
some interesting-
is Foles going to be as good as he was. He threw 2 picks in that preseason game, which I think was half as much as he had all last year. But
It's tough when
he may not have to be.
you're going against Sanchez in camp every day.
That's true.
It's a lot of pressure.
Oh, the bar is so high.
McCoy over 2,000 yards, 75-1.
Is it? We're going to do that later. We're even going to have a separate thing?
McCoy,
Yeah.
1,700 yards over, plus 600.
That's rushing. That's not
Rushing,
line of
that's
scrimmage.
it.
Yeah.
McCoy, 9 100-yard games, 9 out of 16,
I was looking at that.
11-1.
I know, but what did
He's
he
not
have?
going to have 9 100-yard
No.
games?
What did
That
he have,
feels like a sucker bet.
Yeah, 4 or 5 last year.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing with that. I looked
really do.
at exactly that. Yeah.
They look for suckers, and we are 2 suckers.
We are 2 suckers. But they
Washington-
play the NFC West this year, so obviously the whole division does. Their extra games are Carolina and at Green Bay. They're at Indy this year. They're at San Fran. They're at Arizona. They're at Green Bay.
So Washington, couple things I don't like about Washington here.
Yeah.
One is the controversy about their name is going to become the dominant story of this year, I feel like.
Again, this
Unless
year?
somebody insults Michael Sam, which will then immediately trump.
Right,
Which
yeah.
the Michael Sam thing is in play for 4
Yeah,
months.
Daniel
Just-
Snyder should try to fix that. So the Michael
Should
Sam thing becomes
pay
big.
somebody to
Yeah, exactly.
insult Michael Sam?
Yeah.
17 weeks, somebody's going to say something dumb about Michael Sam at one point, and that's going to be a
Right.
3-week thing.
Probably.
The Washington professional football team's name is not going to die. It's going to get worse. You're going to have stuff like this week as we're taping, Mike Ditka said something that became a big deal.
Right.
You have a bunch of older football media people who I think are annoyed by this story.
Yeah.
And it's really breaking down into the liberal younger sports media
Sure.
versus conservative. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Not to mention the racism of the name. And I think it's a dominant story. And then the other one I think that I don't like with them, is it possible Kirk Cousins is better than Robert Griffin?
Yeah.
You read these stories in the training camp and stuff, and just everybody's yeah, you watch them in practice and whatever. You go to the training camp, Kirk Cousins is better than Robert Griffin.
I think we're going to find out this year. I really do. I would put the over-under Griffin starts. I think we did this last year. 7.5. I think it's split down the middle.
We've talked about this before, but it's really hard to change what made you great.
Yeah.
Derrick Rose was this fearless guy, is planting and pushing off, and it's
Yeah.
it's tough to just change that. And Griffin, the thing that made him great was the scrambling, and it's
Sure.
a little like Manziel.
You don't think Jay Gruden could bring out the best in him?
I'm just saying, if you're containing that and you're telling, no, don't be like that, be cautious.
Right, yeah.
I don't think cautious is good for him.
No.
I'm amazed that nobody's made a run at Kirk Cousins. I think he's worth a first-round pick.
You thought someone would grab him there. But
Yeah.
the draft was so rich that you didn't probably have to.
I'm saying right now.
Now? Yeah.
And if
They
I'm
will.
Washington, I get a first-round pick for him because I don't want him versus Griffin to be a lingering storyline this year. I'm just trading for that right now. And then you could use that first-round pick maybe you spin it, you get an asset for it.
I think the big story in Washington, like you said, the name, Jay Gruden's a head coach. Their defense was awful last year, too. 27th versus the pass. I think it was
By the way,
20.
Jay Gruden.
I know. See, I think that's one of the biggest swing and misses. Swings and misses.
I didn't like that one. I didn't like Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
Those were the 2 red flag coach hirings. And the thing is, there was a lot of new
Can you
coaches
say red
hired.
flag or is that racist?
I think it's okay.
All right.
It's a porch pie. It's a porch pie red flag.
I got you.
Red flag's okay.
Week 15 to 17 at Giants, Philly, and Dallas. So they do a nice job. They have that last place schedule with Jacksonville, Tennessee, St. Louis at home. I think if they win their first two at Houston and Jacksonville, they could be in good shape. But this is an 8-win team, I believe.
Give me your honest. Well, they're over under 7.5, so Vegas agrees.
Sean Jackson, they have the big receiver now.
Everyone really ganged up on him over the offseason.
Nice. Which 5 puns. That's ridiculous.
All right, give me your honest assessment.
Yeah.
Remove all the hate out of your body.
Yeah.
The New York Giants, are they going
Last.
to be good this year?
No. 6 wins. Yeah, I can't possibly remove all the hate, but that offensive line is, your son could play offensive line for him. I'm
pretty
not
bad.
Kidding.
It's a pretty bad
that's not. I'm not saying anything bad. He's a monster kid, your son.
My son has an 8-pack now.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
It's pretty sad when your 6.5-year-old son has more muscle tone than his dad.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I feel inadequate at all times.
Rashard Jennings, this is their answer. One of the worst offenses we've seen.
I watch football every weekend for 10 hours. Mm-hmm. At no point in my life did I ever say, Rashard Jennings, who's that?
Yeah.
He just seemed like a backup.
They lost Hakeem Nicks. They lost Brandon Myers. They lost David Deal. They lost, that's on offense.
Well, the good news is Tom Coughlin is on the September cover of AARP magazine.
Is he?
Yeah.
They'll never fire him, right? It'll just be too mean to fire him at this point.
At some point, he's just going to tip over.
Right.
Or his head's going to turn so red that they're going to determine it's like a hazard to the fans or something. But he's in his late 60s now. My dad came and visited us this weekend, and he's 60. He's going to be 67 this year. Mm-hmm. Pretty good shape mentally.
Right.
Kind of quick still, a little sense of humor sometimes.
Yeah.
Could not coach a professional football team. No.
Have you tried?
How old's your dad?
You haven't tried. My father's 73. Yeah, he couldn't do it either.
I don't understand how anybody can do it. I feel like even Belichick right now, who I think's 61 or 62, even that feels like it's totally pushing it.
18 hours a day.
I find at 44, I'm messing up names down and stuff.
Sure.
I don't see how you do it.
I know. Yeah.
So that's
I
a red
guess you have
flag.
to have a good supporting cast around you.
I don't like that for every division now, except for, I guess in the AFC East you liked Miami.
Yeah.
And in the AFC West we both like San Diego. So I guess we're not picking the favorites for everyone. But man, it's hard for me to see how the Eagles don't go 10-6 and win the division.
I was looking at that and I was like, I think I have 6 of the 8 division winners. But I think, wasn't it 6 of 8 last year? We could look back, but it doesn't change hands as much as you would think.
Can we agree that there's only one playoff team from this division?
Definitely. And Philly at plus 105 is probably not even a good bet. But
Philly minus 40 for the playoffs, 9 over under, which I think is a good bet because they'll either go 9-7 or 10-6 or whatever, and minus 120 to win 9 games, so you could push that. 28 to 1 to win the Super Bowl.
Nah, they're a 4 seed, right? They're going to lose to whatever NFC West.
Is there any scenario where they score 40 points a game and become this year's 2013 Broncos?
Yeah. The scenario is they play the Dallas Cowboys 16 times.
That division's horrible. Do they have any tough games?
Their road games are, aside from the division, are at Indy, San Francisco, Arizona, and Green Bay.
That's tough.
Right? But like I said, they finished the last 3, Dallas, at Washington, and at the Giants.
So to recap, we don't like any of these 4 teams.
No, forget it, NFC East. I'm sorry. I love you, but you're not going to compete. Well, that's the thing. They're going to get... If you think San Fran and Seattle make the playoffs, they're going to get the lesser of those teams in the first round of the playoffs. We're looking way ahead. But,
Sal, sometimes you got to root against your own.
You do?
Yeah.
All right.
I know it's not in you, but if they start at 1-4, you've got to start making plans here.
They have
Romo's in your son's middle name.
I know. It's so stupid. What am I doing?
I don't know. NFC North. Vegas believes that an NFC North team winning the Super Bowl, the odds are plus 650. Pretty good. You got Green Bay, the favorite, minus 120 to win the division. Mm-hmm. The Bears, plus 280 to win the division. Detroit, plus 440. And then the Vikings as a long shot at plus 1,500. What's interesting is the Bears are 22 to 1 to win the Super Bowl, which is usually that range they put teams that are just dangerous enough you have to take them seriously. 8.5 over under for them. 8.5 over under for Detroit.
We haven't discussed this ahead of time, but I think we're going to pick the same team to win this division. Let's say it on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Bears.
Minnesota.
Oh, wow. Stop it. No. No.
I don't know. I don't have a feel for this division.
Really?
I was hoping you were going to talk me into a team.
I love the Bears. I really do.
So why is their defense, which was 32nd against the run last year and 17th against the pass and 25th overall, why is their defense going to be better
It's going to be better because they got rid of Julius Peppers. Everyone thinks he's the godsend here, but he's highly overrated. They replaced him with Jared Allen. It was Lamar Houston and who else? Willie Young. So they're in good shape defensively.
Julius Peppers had like 2 good seasons.
Yeah.
And then really got a lot of leverage from having a great name.
Right.
He's the reverse Blake Bortles.
By the way,
You just want Julius Peppers to be good at football.
And he's on a defensive equivalent with another great name, the A.J. Hawk, who's also overrated, and Peppers went to Green Bay. So I think it's shifting. And this is a fabulous offense. What's not to like about this offense?
Do you think Cutler plays 16 games?
Yeah.
Because usually he has trouble doing that.
I know. I think he makes it. I don't know. I know you have to you have to think that they're going to be healthy the whole year, and that's a lot. But Marshall and Jeffrey and Forte,
wow.
That's a lot going on there.
I'm glad you brought up Jeffrey. I think there's some really interesting receiving bets with him.
Mm-hmm.
Plus 2,500 to have the most yards.
Yeah. Why not?
If you played this season 25 times, does he have the most yards in one of the 25 times?
Right.
I would say yes.
Boy, can you imagine if they played this season 25 times?
You would love it. Over 1,400 yards, plus 600.
Mm-hmm.
Over 13 TDs, 10-1.
Yeah.
Over 100-yard games, 7, plus 800. Catching 100 passes, 14-1. I like everything. I think that guy's a monster.
You think he gets enough targets?
I think that guy is a monster.
Yeah,
He's the best guy in that team.
Yeah.
Everyone for Brandon Marshall's been coasting on the reputation for the last couple
Good
years.
for you.
That is Jeffrey's team.
All right. Good.
I like all the Jeffrey's
scoring.
bets.
They're going to score a ton.
He's like Josh Gordon, where your team's playing him and you're scared the whole time.
Yeah, they killed us on a
Although Josh Gordon's going to be watching Jeffrey with us probably on TV.
Another monster. I like them a lot.
And you like Trestman?
I don't think he wins like big playoff games yet, but I think they win that division.
I really liked them last year, and it was just a bunch of dumb stuff went wrong for them.
Yeah.
They lost a couple dumb games. Defense let them down.
Right. Got a cornerback in the draft, right? Kyle Fuller. Yeah, they're in good shape. I like that team.
The other thing is everybody loves Forte as a fantasy guy this year. Not that he's not good every year, but everybody's like, why isn't he like the third pick in your draft?
You don't like Jordan Palmer as a backup or Clausen or any of those guys if Cutler goes down?
Is that how deep your research was? You had their backups?
Listen, I've been doing these cards all
great.
summer. This is insane. Yeah.
Clausen's one of their backups?
Yeah.
Who's the other one?
Jordan Palmer of Hard Knocks fame.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, he's got to be good. But they'll sign somebody.
We'll get into this when we talk about
By the way,
Falcons.
they signed Santonio Holmes. He could be their 4th best receiver.
I'm torn between the top 3, and I also think the Vikings are going to be good. This is the only one I don't really have an opinion on yet. So you look at the Lions last year. They had the 19th offense, which seems weird.
Yeah.
They kind of tailed off down the stretch. The Schwartz thing, it was clear that wasn't
And he's
working.
gone. And
I didn't feel like Stafford had a very good year either for him.
No,
Even though the
not.
yards were there, it just was.
No.
There was a lot of just throw it up for Calvin Johnson moments.
Right. And that, which usually works, but didn't last year.
He missed a couple games.
Jim Caldwell's in this year. And
Well, that worries me a little.
I think he's a better disciplinarian for like Dominican Sue and Fairley.
Oh no, he'll be better than Schwartz.
Yeah.
But I was there for the Jim Caldwell era in the
Right.
Colts games. Never felt like that was like a team that ran on all cylinders.
Sure. Yeah.
A lot of jokes about how he just kind of looked like a statue.
Right. Speaking of jokes, Jokey Bell, Reggie Bush, it's all there. All talents there. Megatron, obviously. They're in nice shape offensively.
That team just seemed kind of infected, for lack of a better word, last year.
Yeah.
Just something not right.
Right.
Like they just were off. And
Here's their first 5 games. This is what
Okay.
I wrote down. Giants, at Carolina, which we haven't gotten to, but I don't think they'll be good.
they're going to stink.
Green Bay, at Jets, and Buffalo. I think they can win 4 or 5.
That could be 4-1.
Yeah. 4-1, that division's a nice start.
Is it possible that the NFC North is going to be the good division this year?
Yeah. And so,
Out
what'd
of
you
the
say?
8?
What'd you say the odds were? Because you could get
Plus 650.
probably not going to get 3 playoff teams in there, but you should,
I think 2
should
playoff
get
teams come out of this division.
Should get 2 in there,
Right?
Yeah,
Don't you think?
I do.
We have 2 from the NFC North and 2 from the NFC West. We might differ on that NFC West playoff team, though.
Right. All right.
Packers, what do we need to know about them?
I don't. Like I said, they got Peppers, and they don't never make a big splash in free agency. And I think
No,
it's
they're
gonna-
like the Pats.
I think it's going to catch up to them this year. The secondary gives up big plays, and for an 8-7-1 team to have a first place schedule, I think it's going to be rough. The first 3 of the 4 are on the road against Seattle, Detroit, and Chicago. So they could be looking as bad as Detroit's looking good. So
that's tough. They're 14-1 to win the Super Bowl, but as we know, they're a public team. Their Super Bowl odds are always skewed. Mm-hmm. And -120 to win the division. They're also a public team. -225 to make the playoffs. I was stunned by the over/under for them. 10.5 is really high.
Too high, right?
Because all 6 of those games are going to be hard. I think the Vikings are going to be frisky.
Now, here's what I'll say, though, and I'll say the same for Breeze. You wonder, like Rodgers he could throw for 50 touchdowns any year.
Yeah.
That's what, if you bet against them, that's what you're up against. Is the only problem. But the division is more even than it's been.
Does Olivia Munn help or hurt him?
Ooh, I don't know. What do you think?
Woman reeking legs rock.
You mean them was setups? No, they weren't setups.
No, they weren't setups. Yeah, I'm a little worried about that. I think she's a little devil.
Really?
I remember those texts she sent to somebody that ended up on Gawker, and they were graphic.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's not.
Look, he sat on a plane next to George Wendt for 12 weeks straight, and that didn't affect him. So he's going to be fine.
I forgot about that. Do you think he toned down the commercials?
Oh my God, enough!
I don't know. She's a lot of women.
She's pretty good.
A lot to handle there.
Yeah, no odds on that.
It's hard to worry about your offensive line when you got to worry about home too.
What week does that relationship get through the regular season?
No, I think he dumps her next
Really?
week. Yeah,
minus
too much. You can't satisfy her and your offensive line and your receivers at the same time.
Let's parlay that with the Bills not making the playoffs. Now the Vikings. I love Mike Zimmer and I love Norv Turner, former Cowboy coaches.
I like the Vikings.
You think this team gets a nut? Yeah?
I like the Vikings.
Wow.
All right, a couple things about the Vikings.
Good free agent signings.
Adrian Peterson is on this team.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah.
I love Bridgewater. I could see him being good immediately.
No question
I could see him being the story of the season.
No question he starts.
Russell Wilson started as a rookie.
No, I know. Yeah.
Bridgewater has to start.
Yeah?
Has to.
All right.
And you think about how bad their quarterbacks were and how that lingered over them. Mm-hmm. And then their coaching situation was always bad. I like Mike Zimmer. I think he's going to be
good. did too.
He had Bridgewater. Peterson, kind of people writing off a little bit. Yesterday's news.
Yeah.
And then Cordarrelle Patterson.
Yeah. North Turner loves him.
I think he goes $15 higher than you think in our fantasy auction.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
I think you go into that thinking you get him for 8. I think he goes for like 22.
All right, he definitely will now because you're going to bid on him. I'm going to make you bid him up.
And I will.
Secondary allowed 37 touchdown passes last year. That's a problem. And an all-new defensive line. Great draft, though. Anthony Barr.
Great draft. That's the other thing. And Harrison Smith is healthy this year. Mm-hmm. They lost him for 8 games.
Yeah. They could be good, but
an awesome draft.
I don't know.
There's a lot of signs here for this one, Sal.
If you like the Bears...
What are the
and
first
the Lions? 4? I have 2 through 5 I wrote down here. New England, at New Orleans, Atlanta, and at Green Bay. So that's tough. I don't know who they open with.
Sayonara, Minnesota. I'm off the bandwagon. Thanks for the memories. So maybe they're the team that starts off 2-6, but we start betting on them around week 9, and they have like a really nice. Yeah. They might be that team.
All right, let's try to remember that. But I like too many teams in this division.
Me too.
I don't hate them, but so what would be the way to go? I like Bears plus 280.
I think I'm with you with the Bears.
Good.
Because I liked them last year. I really felt like they were the playoff team that didn't actually make the playoffs last year.
Yeah, you feel like you bet like the Bears. If you pick the Bears to be good, you pick the Jets to be good. It's kind of the same thing. Like, oh, what am I doing? But I think we got it this year. Over 8.5 for the Bears is the way to go too. That's nice.
Is Mike McCarthy on the first coach fired?
No. He keeps getting a pass because Rodgers gets hurt and he still wins.
Garrett at plus 250 kills me. I've never seen, I don't think, a lower first coach fired in August.
Really? Yeah.
Plus 250?
Yeah.
Vegas just sitting there waiting for it.
That guy. Everyone knows what
they're not going to fire him.
No. Jerry Jones would much rather lose and have someone else to blame than win and share credit.
Bears 22-1 to win the Super Bowl?
I like it. I think they're right there in the championship.
Bears 8.5 wins. We like that.
Mm-hmm. You like Vikings over 6.
What about Bears to make the playoffs plus 135?
Yeah, maybe that's good. I'm going to circle that now.
I like when you circle stuff.
See, the problem is the NFC South, which we haven't gotten to yet.
Jay Veal Cutler.
That could have a playoff team. That could have a wild card team, too. NFC South.
NFC North. Plus 650 to win the Super Bowl. Pretty enticing.
Yeah.
The wonkiest division out of the 8, in my opinion. The NFC South plus 800. Looks so easy on paper. Just pencil in New Orleans, stop thinking about it, and move on. Am I the only one who's not sold on this New Orleans team? I don't like the fact that everybody is just pushing them into the playoffs and they're a contender. It's like,
I love them.
So they're relying on a rookie receiver is going to be their big threat this year.
No.
Brandon Cooks.
No, they got everyone. They got Stills. They have Colston.
I had Kenny Stills in my fantasy team last year. I started him once. I think he caught 0 balls for 0 yards.
But it's the Packers. He spreads the breeze, makes everyone look good. Jarius Byrd. That's a huge free agent signing.
It's a good one.
Stick him back there with Vaccaro.
Sean Payton?
They're looking good.
You like the secondary?
Defensively, yeah.
You like Breeze?
Yeah.
Breeze, I know he's putting up stats, but he also gets to play in a dome 8 times, plus the Falcons, which is a 9th time, plus if he gets like another dome game. So between 9 and 10 dome games a year. Mm-hmm. Watching him, naked eye, just seeing Drew Brees, being scared of him, betting against him, picking against him, whatever. I didn't feel like he was that great the last 2 years.
No?
No.
Wow, I feel like
he was good. I don't feel like he's at the level he was 2-3 years ago. And I don't think his weapons are that scary.
He is getting older, and I'm taking the Saints to win the Super Bowl this year.
Wow, so we really disagree.
Yeah, we really do. I think they're the only 12-win team in football this year. I think they're 12-4. They're not going to screw around. They don't want to play on the road. They almost won on the road, like against Seattle. You had them against Seattle last year, right? They're coming closer and closer.
I did, and I was reminded that I was a freaking idiot to pick New Orleans in a road game on grass.
Didn't they cover? I know, but
they might have.
I think they covered.
They might have, but I went against Russell Bustle, Hustle, and Muscle.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. I really like it.
Met him at the ESPYs, by the way.
You did, right? How was I not there for that?
I know. You would have loved it. He's great.
What did you do?
Very serene.
Yeah?
Very serene guy.
Did he know? Could he see it in your eyes?
Really? Do you know when somebody's believed in you first over anyone else? I don't know. I don't know these things. New Orleans plus 150 to win the division.
I like that.
Over-under is 10. Yeah. Super Bowl 14-1, playoffs minus 225.
So their over-under is 10. The next closest is Atlanta at 8.5. So that's probably about right.
I have a confession. I've obviously been watching Hard Knocks. We all watch Hard Knocks every year. It's, by the way, the same show every year.
Yeah, they're boring. It's boring.
It's boring. I have it on when I'm doing emails, but it's like the same beats every year.
Exactly.
They need like a new producer or something to mix it up.
The white guy with the long hair is not going to make the team.
Yeah. Come get your playbook. Come see us. I don't mean to kill Hard Knocks, but like come up with a couple different wrinkles.
Yeah. Now, what are we to think about that? Does a coach, so they have to get the roster down from 90 to 53. That's just for television where he doesn't cut all 37 guys in person, does he?
No. He does like the 3.
Yeah.
Then the rest
whenever the cameras are
in his minions.
That's what I thought. All right.
The one thing I have been interested in is watching Mike Smith because I like to study the coaches and Hard Knocks. So I really feel like at some point the cameras are there so much you're going to be who you are.
Yeah.
And we learned this the hard way as a little painful example for you with Dave Campo. Mm-hmm. We watched that Dallas season with Dave Campo.
When he's in the Sea World, he's in the
he was just such a buffoon, costume. And it was like, wow, this guy's in charge of a football team. Like it was just, there's no way Dallas could be good when he was the coach.
It's funny. I look at the Hard Knocks, I see Mike Tice, and I think that too. It's like, how is this guy ever a head coach? What? Like he should be an insurance salesman. Like,
and Herm Edwards seemed like an SNL character, not a real coach.
Yeah.
But I watched Mike Smith, and he just kind of seems like a caretaker to me.
Could this be it for him? I mean, they were so good before last year.
That's one of the things I was thinking.
You like him?
So, first coach fired for him, plus 1,200.
Wow.
Now, here's what's interesting, Sal, because I did these odds 16 days before I went back and looked at them. Was not listed the first time around.
Really?
It's almost like they watched them on Hard Knocks. They're like, we're throwing them up. 12 to 1.
Yeah.
So, people just seem to be making the case like, the Falcons, they'll be back. They had a weird year.
Right.
They have all these weapons.
Good draft. Jake Matthews, that guy's solid tackle. He's
good draft.
Devonta Freeman could be a breakout running back because it's not going to be Steven Jackson. We know that.
Julio Jones is back.
Julio Jones.
I don't love that injury he had, though.
He looks so dynamite, though, in preseason.
I know. I do love him.
They needed to beef up the defensive line. They didn't. They overpaid for, average players.
I think their defense is going to suck.
Yeah. And it can't in that division. It just
plus 460 for the division, 61 for the Super Bowl, 8.5 over under.
I like it on.
And there's action on the under, minus 160.
Yeah.
Minus 300 not to make the playoffs.
But you know what? Maybe the
I don't
Hard
see it. I
Knocks
don't think
team.
they're a playoff team.
Maybe you just stay away from the Hard Knocks team.
I don't like the Falcons, and I don't like the Panthers.
Well, let's talk about this Panthers team because there was a team that
so
won.
many signs.
Now the Texans over/under was what, like 7 or something, and they had won 2 games. This is the opposite. They won 12 games.
Yeah.
And their over/under's what, 7.5?
Well, they lost a lot of dudes. They have a tougher schedule. They had great luck in close games last year, which people notice. Their receivers are an abomination. Like,
Awful.
if their rookie doesn't come through, they're screwed.
Yeah, Kelvin Benjamin's like he's their top receiver. And who's like the second?
Although he has been
Jericho
he's been getting good buzz though.
I guess so. But here's what I don't understand. And I know their salary cap strapped because of 2 running backs who, if you're a fantasy player, you've stayed away for like the last 8 years. DeAngelo Williams and Stewart.
And they're also 2 of the most overpaid running backs in the league.
Yeah, that's why they can't afford anything.
Barnwell wrote a really good thing about them earlier in the preseason about the cap mismanagement. Mm. And when you screw up for 2 years in the NBA you can screw up, but the deals are so short, eventually you're going to get out of it. In the NFL, you just keep rolling it over, and at some point you got to pay the piper.
Yeah. And now here it is.
And
you don't want to pay
trouble.
the piper when you're playing a first-place schedule. Here's weeks 4 through 11 for them. At Baltimore, Chicago, at Cincy, at Green Bay, Seattle, New Orleans, at Philly, Atlanta, and then a bye. Way under. Sorry.
And the good thing for them, I guess, is Luke Kuechly.
Yeah.
Kuechly.
Good rookie.
At some point, I'll pronounce and spell his name. He's only the best player in the league.
They say if you keep rubbing your lower lip, it'll come out right.
And Cam Newton was good. And also, they were right there in that playoff game.
I just think they're going to be on the wrong end of some 13-7 games this year. That defense will keep them.
It's going to even out. Riverboat Ron got lucky a few times.
He did.
And I think he betrayed the spirit of Riverboat Ron when he didn't go for it that second time on 4th and 1.
Yeah.
That was my porch boy disappointment of the 2013 playoffs.
Piss poor porch pie performance.
You know what's interesting? I don't think they make the playoffs.
No.
I think that 7.5 over-under is too low, though.
No.
They feel 8-8 to me.
No.
They feel like an 8-8-ish. 7-9, 8-8 somewhere.
I don't like it. They're asking too much.
So it sounds like you like Rivera for first coach fired at plus 20 to 1.
I mean, I don't think it's his fault. Like I said, that salary cap it's abysmal. He was probably 6 hours away from being fired last year. Like they'd let him.
Arguably should have been fired.
Yeah.
And then had one of the all-time great rallies. Mm-hmm. Tampa, plus 800 for the division, 7 over under, plus 425 for the playoffs. New coach, Lovie Smith.
With Leslie Frazier.
Reliable as hell.
I think this works.
Did a nice job. I think that's the second best team in the division.
I think second best team, and I think they make a wild card. They squeeze the Packers out, and they get the 6th seed. I really like them. They changed uniforms. They changed head coach. They got rid of Revis. They changed their quarterback. Alteron Werner is like one of the best corners in the league. Like that's going to be a gold mine for them. They're really good. They had a nice draft, Mike Evans, and
Mike Evans was nice. Some slight buzz for him for offensive rookie of the year.
6 draft picks, all offensive players, and you need to score points in that division. I think they're going to.
The Schiano thing was weird.
Yeah.
I mean, there's signs that point to when you look at teams that kind of bounce up for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. Schiano, Freeman, that whole thing was weird.
Right.
And the Revis thing, they don't use him, and guys are complaining. And I don't mind Mike Glennon. Is he going to be the backup?
I think so. I think
so. It's going to be Josh McCown.
Yeah, but I
like Josh McCown too.
Shape.
Yeah, both of those guys are solid.
I think this is the only first-year coach. Not that he's really a first-year coach, Lovie Smith, but I think this is the only one that's going to work in the league.
Now, here's what you're looking for when you're targeting like the new coaches. Mm-hmm. Like, there's 2 ways it could go. It could go like Mike McCoy last year, where it's like this guy's finally getting his chance, and he's a much better coach than we thought he was going to be.
Right.
Or it could go like the Lovie Smith way, where it's just like last year is a mess. We're bringing in Lovie Smith. This guy's solid.
Yeah.
He's going to go 10-6 or 9-7 every year.
Porch pie profanity.
Right there. He's solid. He's seen it all. He's been in the Super Bowl.
They're going to be a good
team. Been in
team.
NFC Championship games.
They lost their first.
His teams always have an identity.
Yeah. Didn't they lose? Was that last year with the Jets with the late hit out of bounds in the first game? That was it. They couldn't recover from that.
Well, how's their schedule?
Last place schedule. After their bye in Week 7, they have Minnesota, Cleveland, and Atlanta, and Washington. I think.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
They're in good shape.
Gorgeous schedule. Any chance Tampa surpasses the Saints and wins this division?
I think the Saints are in no effing around mode. I really do. And I like plus 150 to win a division. Playoffs for the Saints minus 225. If you parlay that with something, it's gonna be good, right?
So Tampa making the playoffs, is that your porch pie in the sky pick?
I think that is. Okay. What is it? It's plus 425.
Beautiful.
Porch pie in the sky.
I'm with you on Tampa. It'd be fun. What are their new uniforms look like? I forget.
I think they have the old Patriots mascot, the constipated guy, on there.
Oh,
that's slick.
They kind of look like a little Any Given Sunday-ish.
That's a uniform you want to wear in January. I like that.
They never have the punter showing off the uniform.
No,
it's always the guy who's like the most ripped on the defense.
Yeah.
Our last division, the best division in football, allegedly, according to Vegas. I don't know if I agree with them. Plus 200 that an NFC West team wins the Super Bowl.
Wow. That is low.
2-1 odds.
There's a lot of other teams in this thing.
That can't be right.
I think that's right. I think I saw plus 220 a couple weeks ago.
So the Seahawks are 6-1 to win the Super Bowl. The Niners are 9-1. Rams 60-1. Cardinals 60-1. And that's how you end up at plus 200. That's a terrible bet. I advise against NFC West at plus 200. The Seahawks plus 115 to win the division. Why aren't I putting my mortgage on that?
I don't know. I'm with you. And your mortgage is way higher than mine.
That's not. You just bought a new house.
No, but I like. For a Super Bowl team, if they don't get their coaching staff scrapped, which they didn't, they held on to Bevel and Quinn and Pete Carroll, obviously.
I like where you're going there.
Why not? Why not do it again? The monster defense. But I have them at 10
let's talk
wins.
about it. So
not 13. I have 10-win team, Seattle. This
year after hangover.
Mm-hmm.
The Russell Wilson divorce, that was a weird story.
Right. Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch
about that, by the way.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, at least I'm back in the game.
Mm-hmm.
The Marshawn Lynch stuff was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Really weird.
Yeah.
He just kind of seems like he's losing his mind a little bit.
Yeah.
They lost Golden Tate, made a bunch of big plays for them.
Right.
Who'd they lose on D? They lost a couple,
Well, you got your Brandon Browner, right? Wasn't he?
They lost Brandon Browner.
Walter
They lost
Thurman,
one of the guys on defense.
Yeah.
Chris Clemens.
Red Bryant. They lost a few guys. Sidney Rice, but
good infrastructure though.
Yeah. And their draft, they didn't go to the 45th pick. You're just banking on last year's Seahawks
with a better Percy Harvin.
Right.
Barnwell's point about this is a great one. And it shouldn't be his point. It should just be a point. But it's the last time I read it was from him. Just when you have Russell Wilson at the contract he has, that's like the single biggest advantage in out of all 32 teams.
It's really not fair.
It's like you stumble into like the salary cap gold. Any other team is paying $15 million a year on the cap for him. What's Romo's cap figure?
It's a lot. It's thousands of dollars. I hope they're giving Russell Wilson a nice per diem at least, Yeah,
maybe they sneak him money under the table. 11 is their over-under. That seems right on target.
Yeah, probably right on.
The thing you forget with these things is that 11 always seems high, but every year, like 3 or 4 teams go 14-2, 13-3, or 12-4.
Right.
It happens every year. Don't be scared off by the 11.
I guess not. I like I said, I thought the Saints were the only 12-win teams, and then you have the Niners. I said Niners will have 11, and I say Seahawks with 10. I think that's how this division breaks.
They're in the mix. All the Vegas has accommodated all the potential scenarios for them. There's no value in the Seahawks that I see, unless you wanted to take them minus 300 for the playoffs. I would be flabbergasted if they did not make the playoffs.
Really? Okay.
I just think they have too much talent.
I think the Niners at minus 240 is a better bet for the playoffs.
Well, this is where we're about. This is going to get interesting.
Go ahead.
I don't like the Niners.
You don't think they make it at all?
I don't like them.
Wow.
Who's this year's Texans? Who's the team that everybody thinks is good and they're not, and they don't make the playoffs?
Count Carolina? You can't.
No, you can't count teams that we saw coming.
Then I don't know if there is one.
Here are the candidates: Patriots, Broncos, Packers. I think people would be shocked by them.
Yeah,
Saints, Niners, Seahawks.
Well, then I say the Packers.
Actually, I guess you can't say the Packers. Did they even make the playoffs last year?
8-7-1. They made it. Yeah. They won the division.
You can't include them, man. It's got to be somebody good.
I don't know. Maybe it's not that team. Maybe here are the red flags. They went down to 2 wins.
I'm gonna go through the red flags in honor of Connor Shaw.
The Niners. Go ahead.
Emmy Award-winning producer Connor Shaw. I'm gonna use my fingers and do it. Get my hands going.
Use them all.
Red flags in order. Colin Kaepernick, huge contract, got paid. Had a weird thing that got thrown out in court, but that was bugging him all season.
Right.
Harbaugh really seems like he might have been open to leaving.
Yeah.
kind of planted a seed with somebody at some point, like, hey, are you guys ready? And this is a guy that is like a 3 years and out type guy. He's like the Larry Brown of football potentially. So if
2 out of 3 pass rushers gone the first 4 weeks.
If he thought this was a Super Bowl team, why would he be sniffing around?
Oh, wow.
Why would he?
That is Tom Cruise-esque interrogating.
Oh, you like that?
No,
why the 2 orders, Jim Harbaugh? Why the 2 orders?
You order the code red
You
flag?
think this is a Super Bowl team, but you were sniffing around?
Who, you, Lieutenant Weinberg? I always wondered, why did he pick on Lieutenant Weinberg? You guys just sitting there.
He's an anti-Semite.
Just sitting there doing nothing. What is he calling him out for?
Saw him, went right after him. And then they 3 straight years had devastating playoff losses.
Sure. Now, well, that's the thing. It could go either way. Does that work to their
Hold on, I'm not done. I'm still going.
All right, go ahead.
I'm still going.
Go ahead.
Alden Smith.
Yeah.
That's a disaster.
Yeah, they're in trouble there.
That's a disaster. And who else did they lose on the D-line?
Well, Bowman, not on the D-line.
Bowman's hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, Bowman blew out his leg in 48 directions. They lost Dante Whitner-Hittner.
Yeah. But it's fairly easy schedule for the 12-win team. And they open with Dallas. So how could they complain? Carlos Hyde could be the running back. You keep waiting for
Frank Gore
to slip up. They
jam the fork in his back.
I think they get 11 wins.
Well, I like the under for wins, and I like the no for the playoffs.
So you like Seattle, unless you're going to hit me with a surprise here. I don't think you are, but it looks like you want Seattle for this division. But let's go over the Rams just in case.
I think the Rams make the playoffs.
Wow. So the Rams and
they just have too much talent.
No. I'm trying to think what
the Rams and either the Bucs or one of those NFC North.
It's still only 6 teams in each conference make the playoffs.
I do. I just like the Rams.
Okay. So you're saying you're saying the NFC North,
their defense is going to be great.
Yeah.
They're loaded.
That draft is incredible. Robinson, Donald.
2 of the top 13
Trey
picks.
Mason.
The Griffin trade, which I hated for them. And I was wrong. I'm man enough to admit I'm wrong.
Right.
That trade was great. It's one of the great trades of the last 10 years.
Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator. Here are their road games, though. At Philly, at Tampa, at KC, at San Fran, at Seattle, at Arizona, at San Diego, and at Washington. Tough. Could
yeah,
hit a tough
I might flip on
there.
this prediction by the time we're in my comp. 22nd offense last year, 11th defense. 28th rushing, which was weird because I thought Zach Stacy was good. They get a full year of him this year, so that'll get better. They had a monster schedule.
Sure.
They played the 4th best set of offenses and the 6th best set of defenses.
But that doesn't change. I mean, here's the problem.
No, but they went 7-9 last year. They're going to be better than last year.
And the Cardinals do. They went 10-6. But here's the problem with being the Cardinals or the Rams. You're not going to put together a 4-game winning streak when you have like Seattle twice and
you are if the Niners suck.
The Niners suck.
See, it's a two-part pick for me.
That's true.
I like the Rams partly because I don't like the Niners.
You don't like the Niners. I get it.
And by the way, Niners fans, don't email me and say I hate your team. I don't hate any teams.
Right.
It's just I'm just looking at the scenarios.
But if you do email him at his personal email at .com.
That's going to get
that. What? Leave that.
Leave it.
Oh, the fans deserve to know where you're at. So Arizona, you're not.
No, Arizona lost Washington. They just lost Dockett.
Yeah.
They have Honey Badger coming back from the ACL, and everybody's, oh, no, he's going to play. It's a 2-year injury. We learned that over and over again.
Oldest roster in the league, toughest schedule in the league. You wouldn't think they'd have the oldest roster.
And Carson Palmer 6 times against the NFC West.
Yeah, you're right.
And people like them partly because they finished the year so strong. They didn't make the playoffs.
Right. Sacked 41 times.
And Carson Palmer's their quarterback.
Right.
I had Andre Ellington on my fantasy team last year.
Yeah.
And I thought he was really good and he was underused, and I'd never understood why they didn't just run him into the ground, and maybe they'll do that this year. I do like him.
Yeah, but again, you're playing the same teams. Like, not many 10-win teams play a third-place schedule. It's just hard for them.
Dockett's a bad sign. It's a bad sign when you lose, like, one of the heart and soul of your team before the season starts. That usually doesn't turn out that well. They have Peterson. They still have some blue chippers.
Yeah. So you go Seattle, barely wins.
I like the over for Seattle.
The Rams.
I like the over.
Well, it sounds like
they're
like
at least 12-4.
If you like the 7.5,
I like the Rams over 7.5.
It's minus 140. That's not bad.
I like the Rams plus 375 for the playoffs. I don't think the Niners odds are good enough for the no for the playoffs, but I do like the under 10.5 minus 125.
All right,
and I dislike NFC West plus 200. And I like Russell Wilson to date Olivia Munn. 60-1.
Oh, I was going to say Russell. I was going to say Russell Wilson and Chris Martin, but okay.
Chris Martin, that's interesting. Yeah. What about Paltrow? How about one of the two? Either person in that marriage.
You could take Paltrow. Maybe you guys switch off.
This is our favorite part of the podcast. We've already gone through all 8 divisions. Those are all on YouTube, and you've heard them in the AFC and NFC podcast. Now,
just in case you want to lose a little extra money.
So, quick recap.
Go ahead.
We like San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
We like Tampa a little.
Mm-hmm.
We disagree on San Francisco.
Right, I like them. You don't.
We like Chicago. You like Chicago more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
You love Miami. I disagree on that. I like New England.
Right.
We think Cincinnati is undervalued. We think the NFC East is catastrophe.
We have the Colts and Eagles as default winners.
We don't like the AFC South and the NFC East. We probably gambling stayaways both sides. Now we're going to talk about props. Manning is the favorite for MVP at plus 350. Rodgers plus 650. Brady and Breeze plus 800. Luck plus 1,500. Now, we both like the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Phil Rivers 50-1. At what point do we just burning money because of all the money we're going to lose in the Chargers?
Right now.
I think we're right here.
At this point, yeah.
50-1 for Phil Rivers.
Yeah. Stafford 50-1 also, yeah. But, I mean, it's nice to take flyers on those guys, but
quarterback usually wins MVP.
As long as Manning's upright, why not take the plus 350? It's not a giant payout, but
we both think San Diego is going to be better than Denver.
I know. I'm just saying, it's a little hedged. Like, you're probably okay if you take Manning, Rodgers, and Brees.
Luck at 1,500 is interesting.
Yeah.
Just because, what if they go 12-4 with a terrible team?
That team would have to win 12 or 13 games.
Yeah. Cutler plus 2,500 is interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we both think the Bears are good.
Right.
But you know what's not interesting? Des Bryant at plus 3,000 or 30-1.
You don't like that?
No, I don't. I don't like Dallas. I was
trying to think when a receiver. Who was the last receiver?
It's not going to be Des Bryant.
Yeah.
Foles at 40-1 is
no way.
At least caught my interest for a split second.
I would say that the value is in the 3 big quarterbacks. You're not winning a lot if Manning wins, but
I'm not saying these people are going to win the MVP, so don't email me and be like, you think Phil Rivers is going to be the MVP? No, I don't. I'm just going for the best value. I think Rivers at 50-1 is the best value because San Diego has a chance to be one of the best 3 or 4 teams in the league. And if that's the case, you have a QB at 50-1 odds. That's a good thing.
And don't email Bill if you
don't email me.
No, just go to his house at
Hey.
That's in Los Angeles.
Defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Luke Kuechly. Your favorite at plus 650.
A lot of fun.
Watts at plus 800. Sherman plus 1,200. Von Miller plus 1,500. That's also his testosterone level. Revis, Hardy, Hayden, David, and Robert Quinn plus 2,000.
Robert Quinn.
I like Robert Quinn, too. That was the one that jumped out at me.
19 sacks? 20 sacks last year?
Couldn't he have 25 sacks as they make the playoffs? I thought that was a great bet.
And that's another prop. He could break that record, too. But why not 20-1 for the guy who had 19 sacks?
Hell yeah. They go 11-5, make the playoffs. He has 22 sacks.
All right. We got to jump on that because that'll be 9-1 by next week.
Do you like Clowney at 150-1 at all?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think he'll first of all, he'll split stats with Watt, I think. So, I think they cancel each other out, and Watt will be the bigger name anyway. But
how do you split sack stats?
I just think there's only going to be so many sacks. Why?
Maybe there's going to be a plethora of
you
sacks.
You think so? Just every play's a sack?
It's a sack boon. Yeah, maybe it's just 10 sacks a game.
Someone's got to be double.
All right, we like Quinn plus 20-1.
Yeah.
Offensive Rookie of the Year. Watkins plus 550. Cooks plus 700.
Yeah.
Manziel plus 800.
Well, that was before.
Before what?
Before it was announced that he's not starting, but I guess it doesn't really.
Before he started rolling dollar bills?
Yeah.
We both like Bishop Sankey.
Bishop Sankey.
Like. 10-1. Tennessee.
He's good, but isn't he splitting a little with Sean Green?
Exactly. That's why I like Bishop Sankey.
All right.
I've watched Sean Green play football.
I like Carlos Hyde at 20-1, I wrote.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and
Bortles at 21's a flyer.
Why not those three? Those three. Like, you should make money. Sankey, Bortles, and Hyde. 10-1, 20, and 20.
Yeah, because Watkins as your favorite, I don't agree with because I don't know about that team.
Yeah,
in cold weather, I don't know about the quarterback.
He can get like 5 touchdowns and it'd be a good year for him.
I like Bridgewater, too.
And you would put him at 15?
Yeah.
Now, what if they give it to, like, Jake, the lineman, Matthews?
I like too many guys.
Atlanta. I know. And I never win these, so.
You know what? I'm going to force myself to choose. Bridgewater, 15-1.
Okay. I'm going Hyde, 20-1.
Okay. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Clowney plus 250. Mosley and Mack plus 500. Shazier I am not going to be able to say that name ever.
Yeah.
Shazier?
but
Shazier?
I like him. He's my guy.
Shazier.
You like Donald, right?
Well, plus 1,200 is enticing.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to be a homer. I'm going to take Dominic Easley.
All right. Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I think he's going to be great.
All right.
First coach fired.
Taking Doug Marrone at 8-1. I think that team's awful. And I think John Bon Jovi fires him.
Really?
He says, yeah, Doug Marrone, you give love a bad name. Hit the road. There you go.
I didn't know what song you were going with there, but I was excited.
I guess, yeah.
Regardless, that was our porch pie pun of the day.
There you go.
Well, there's so many good choices.
I know. Like,
Garrett at plus 250 is delightful. Dennis Allen plus 400 would probably be the safest bet.
Third-year code. They don't give him more than 3 years in Oakland.
I like Mike Smith plus 1,200.
Yeah.
I think I think those odds are too high.
That's a fun one.
And then the other ones. I think it's
Ryan's
funny that the Browns coach is on there. You're just tired.
Yeah.
The Browns have such a history with fiery people.
Could you give a spread on this? Like, I say Doug Marrone outlasts.
That's a good idea.
Garrett outlasts Marrone by about an hour and a half. I'll give it 93 minutes.
Total hours.
Yeah.
So you give me Garrett
plus 90
hours over Doug Marrone?
Yeah. 90 hours for sure.
Dennis Allen's the best pick.
Yeah, they're
going to
probably
be awful.
That's higher.
At some point, all the Raider fans are going to be like, get him out of here.
Yeah. They just can't win too many games in that division. That's all.
I keep drifting back to Marvin Lewis, trying to think of what could go wrong. Like if they were like this year's Houston, when they were 2-10 and Thanksgiving.
But that would mean
somebody else will get fired before him, though.
Yeah. Coughlin's too old. They won't do it in the middle of the season.
I was surprised Gus Bradley was on here.
He is, right? But this is his second year?
It's his second year. They were good. They finished strong. They're not going to fire
that owner doesn't seem like they get rid of him.
I vote for Dennis Allen. Most passing yards.
Here's where I have to kind of look at stats. I mean, it seems like Manning, Rodgers, and Breeze again.
Yeah, I don't need to rattle off the stats. The one I was looking at, though, was Foles at plus 2,500, 25-1.
Yeah.
Mildly interesting.
Well, they lost.
He was throwing for 300 yards a game.
But they lost Deshaun Jett. They lost their big stretch guy, you know. How about Matt Ryan?
No.
4,500 yards last year.
I don't like any of these guys. For the odds.
I know. You have to take it. It's going to be.
The odds are like, I guess Stafford, because Stafford's always in the 5,000 range anyway, and if they're better than they used to be, I think it's a stake.
Well, why not Ryan, though? He was 900 yards off the pace last year. And no Julio Jones.
What about me, Andrew Luck?
Oh, what about
What about me? I got Hakeem Nicks, so I really like throwing to him.
I don't see you either, Andrew.
it.
Most rushing. Boy, there are some intriguing ones here.
Obviously, McCoy and Peterson are favored.
So what was up with Lacey?
That's who I have circled. Look at that.
But why?
Lacey, circle.
So he wasn't even on the initial list of like top 6, 7 guys. And all of a sudden, I looked 2.5 weeks later, and he's 10-1.
1178 rushing, which put him about 10th in the league last year.
If you think Lacey's going to have a monster rushing year, then you should also like the Packers.
I convinced myself that Lacey could do it, but then, as Aaron Rodgers, he's not that unselfish. He still has to have his 35, 40 touchdown passes and throw the ball down the field. But so I don't know. Maybe it's just a 10-1 though is nice.
You think Olivia Munn made him less selfish? Or?
Yeah,
she's working on him with that.
Maybe she did.
Teach him how to give and take a little bit.
Yeah, he can learn that. What's the stupid ad again? I keep forgetting.
Porch Pies?
No. That one I love.
Oh.
The Aaron Rodgers one.
Double check down?
Yeah, to check
double check.
I still can't. They shove a commercial down your throat.
Well, it's like you phase it out. It's like when you're phasing out some sort of
discount double check.
Discount double check.
Been replaced by Porch Pie.
Out of all of these guys, I think I like Matt Forte at 20-1 the most.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Those are really good odds. But I think
he has a great season.
We're going to get to receiving. You're going to say you like Jeffrey, too, all over the place.
You love that team offensively. You think they're going to score 35 a game?
Yes, but when does that happen, usually, when you get both?
I'm not saying I bet it. I just think those are the best odds.
Those are good odds.
I also like Le'Veon Bell, but I don't even see him on there, unfortunately. Patterson I put in the wrong spot, in case you were confused. Patterson, for most receiving, is 150-1.
Let's go to that. Wow.
So Norv Turner last year turned Josh Gordon into a freaking 2,000-yard receiver, basically.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Patterson at 150-1 is delightful. That's 4 80-yard passes. And then after that, you just got to crank out 80 yards a week. And you got to have, once a month, you have to have an 80-yard touchdown, which he can do.
He could do it. None of us could do that.
None of us.
I
We
could do
can't.
that. But so who else? And now we said Antonio Brown was second in the league behind Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon would have been better off like either doing PEDs or assaulting somebody because
I know it's a bit
just
dope.
failing 2 dope tests and now you can't play for a year.
I know. What year is this?
Roger Goodell. I'm ashamed to root for his league. I think
You
he's
are?
the worst commissioner I've ever.
Really?
I really do. I think he's the worst commissioner of any sport I've ever followed.
Wow. Faye Vincent. There've been so many.
Faye Vincent wasn't as bad as Roger Goodell.
No?
Roger Goodell was like he's like out of a.
Yeah.
He's like out of a movie, like an over-the-top movie that has like Will Smith running away from the government or something. Like he's like the lead character in that.
But it's also unfortunate times for him with the lawsuits and everything. There's nothing he could have done about, that's his legacy right now.
Very down on him.
All right.
And the way they handled the concussion stuff was just disgusting. And the way they're handling the PED stuff is disgusting. Anyway. I don't mean to bring
you root for
down.
basketball. Every game is decided by a 72-year-old ref in the last 8.
I think Adam Silver cares about the league and his players.
Sure.
I'm not positive Roger Goodell cares about his players.
All right. Well, he needs a Donald Sterling type owner, like maybe a couple more pictures of Jerry Jones.
Those pictures were like a 1 out of 10.
Right.
When I heard like, they're Jerry Jones pictures, like I was ready for anything. Jerry in a nightgown with like 5 strippers, like those pictures were a 1 out of 10 for what they should have been.
Yeah, and they should have been.
I wanted like a red ball in his mouth.
Yeah.
I was thinking like Pulp Fiction basement.
Those are coming.
No.
By the way, now that they're ranked $3.2 billion, they're worth.
These definitely.
These pictures are coming fast and furious.
What did his son do in the luxury suite that time? He cleaned his glasses.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he cleaned his glasses.
That was great.
His son-in-law.
I love that. His son-in-law. I can't wait to make my son clean my glasses.
We like Antonio Brown.
I want to have a son-in-law because my daughter's never getting married. She's too much of a pig. Her room's disgusting. Hey, what do you do? You see,
Really?
you lucked out. You don't have daughters.
All boys, yeah.
They turn 9 and and the mom and the daughter they become like it's like a wrestling feud. Yeah.
Wow.
They start doing promos against one another. Let me tell you something about my mom. You're just sitting there like Vince McMahon. It's like, why do you two hate each other? You used to love each other.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And
and it's everyone in her grade. All the moms get together and they complain about the daughters.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they just sit around eating porch pies and everything would be fine.
Good organic plug. I like that.
Wow.
Yeah, they all hate their daughters.
That's weird. 20-1 for Antonio Brown. It was. You take Josh Gordon off, and he's number 1 in the league. No Emmanuel Sanders, but
I like Jeffrey at 25 to 1. I think that guy's the best receiver in the league this year.
All right.
Unless Megatron stays healthy for 16 games.
I like Julio Jones, and by your long pass analogy, that's the guy for that. Obviously, he wasn't on last year's list.
Yeah, true.
12-1 is pretty good.
Well, hasn't he had trouble staying in the field now in 2 seasons?
Yeah, but
That's a problem.
He just catch like 8 long passes.
The thing I like about Jeffrey is he's got the eye of the tiger thing with the whole everybody still thinks Brandon Marshall's the best guy in the receiver, and he's like, no, actually, I'm the best guy. Watch this. And
I
he's
like that.
1,600 yards.
I do like that Bears offense.
Do you like any of those passing yard props?
They make it hard.
I won't rattle them all off, but they're all like somebody throwing for a little more than they usually throw.
All the good
and they're all like
quarterbacks
10 to 14 to 1 that range.
Throwing up for 4,500, 5,000.
It's like Brady. Brady 5,500 yards is 50 to 1.
They're running more than ever now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the one out of all of these that I thought was pretty interesting. Foles over 4,500.
He had 2891 in 13 games, so he had 3,000 in 13 games. So he had about 250.
Knows the offense better. Yeah, he's in range like that. I just thought the odds were pretty good on that one.
That's not terrible.
And bad division.
Right.
But in general, I think all these are stayaways.
What about Matt? Wait, hold on real quick. Matt Ryan, did they have anything for him? Ryan over 5,000, 8 to 1, 45-15 last year.
Just get a room with Matt Ryan already.
Forget about Gonzalez being gone.
Those are all stayaways. They know how to game those odds. I feel like they know stuff.
Jerks.
But the passing TD odds, Stafford over 40 TDs was plus 1,400, and that seemed really conceivable to me. So I think he was close last year.
Breeze at 39 last year, and 45 is his number this year. So you don't like those receivers there.
I don't dislike them. I just think Stafford could throw 41 TDs. Like there's a 14 to 1 chance that happens.
Yeah, that's pretty good. What about Rodgers? Is he going to be pissed off one of these years and just make us all look
Woman
like
weak in legs, rock.
16 to 1.
No, I'm telling you, I read that Gawker piece. I can't. Oh, we forgot one more passing TD prop.
Yeah.
Tony Romo, CFL TDs this year, 3.5 over.
I'll do it. I don't care how much this stuff is worth. I'll really do it. If we weren't going to Vegas in an hour and you'd be pissed at me the whole day, I would do this. I'm really getting soft in my old age.
Rushing props, Le'Veon Bell, 15-1.
Where is it?
1,500 yards.
It would have to be someone like that to just surprise everybody.
1,500 yards is reasonable. I don't really like any of these picks. The only one I really liked was Jeffrey over 1,400s plus 600. Jeffrey, 13 TDs 10-1. Jeffrey, 100-yard games 7 plus 800. 100 passes 14-1. I like all of those. So I'm buying all the Alshon Jeffrey.
You like
stock.
all the Jeffrey stuff. I like the Julio Jones way to go. And
I didn't put those on there.
I like Breeze to make all the defenses suffer. Now they have the one thing. Did you see comeback player of the year?
No, I didn't. I missed that one.
Rodgers 5-1. Who else could it be? Now we're going to get into this Olivia
What's he coming back from? The Olivia Munn breakup that hasn't happened yet?
Stop with that already. Come on.
The terrible double down check ads?
He didn't play last year. He barely played. Ryan 18-1. See, it comes back to the same discussion every time.
Shouldn't it be somebody who's actually coming back from something?
Oh, I'm going to find you someone then. Rodgers at 5-1, Vic 25-1, and Ryan is what I wrote down. All right, so now worst team?
Jacksonville plus 300, Oakland plus 360, Cleveland plus 800, Buffalo 20-1, Dallas 20-1, Cardinals 25-1. I'm just listing off the ones that I think have a chance.
Patriots 250-1. See?
Well, they have odds for everybody.
How does that feel?
I'm just realistic.
You don't like how that feels?
I think Dallas has a chance. I know. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings.
Well, you did.
I think those odds are really good. 20-1.
Buffalo's the team.
You're banking on the Jets being 8-8 somewhere in there, Miami being a playoff team, and the Pats being the Pats.
Right. Buffalo plays the AFC West and the NFC North. I don't see them winning many out of division games either.
AFC West and NFC North?
Yeah, that's bad.
Oof. Okay. All right, let's get to the really fun ones now. Will a quarterback post a perfect passer rating in any game? Minus 110.
Well,
I feel like that happens like twice a year, doesn't it?
It must happen once a year for it to be minus 110, but I wasn't able to find it. I don't like that one. That's a stupid one.
It's a weird one to root for.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like, how would you know at what point in the game, like, it'd be like, they'd never flash that over the ticker.
Well, let's talk about this. What about with all the, and we're going to see an influx of pass interference calls. I can't believe we haven't talked about this, but if the preseason.
Well, that could hurt the passing yards.
Is any
That's interesting, so we could short all the passing yards.
Right.
I like that.
Could do that.
I still, you know where I stand. I still feel like that should count as passing yard stats.
Yeah.
Because Calvin Johnson would be like 300 higher.
That's true.
I really like this bet.
Yeah.
Any quarterback to throw for plus 500 yards in a game.
Yes.
That happens every year.
5 quarterbacks in the last 3 years it's happened to.
Plus 275.
Let's do it. There's always a game like that.
And I can't wait to lose on that.
Yeah, I know the one, Tony Romo, the guy you hate so much, he did it last year.
I don't hate him so much.
Well,
I want him to say, I don't like when you come on the podcast and you're sad.
You don't like it when I'm happy.
No, I don't
You love it. You're salivating.
No.
Go ahead.
Any team wins 14 or more regular season games.
I think that's a lock for no.
Plus 350.
But then you'd have to go minus 550, minus 600 for no.
Will any player catch 2,000 yards this season, plus 800? I don't see that happening.
No.
I don't see a running back rushing over 2,000 for plus 1,200.
12-1 odds. I don't like that.
Will any player have a 99-yard pass play in a game? That seems like something you'd bet on.
It does. So
it's kind of in your wheelhouse.
16-1 odds. That means it happens every 16 years. What would have to happen?
I think it's only happened like 2-3 times.
All right.
Will a player break the regular season receiving TD record of 24 or more? It's plus 2,500.
It would probably
be my dude Alshon.
Yeah, like Megatron, right?
Or Megatron,
yeah. Favorite.
I don't see.
I would say no, but 25-1 is still not worth it.
Will any player break the regular season sacks record?
I like this.
23.
30-1 odds. Quinn. Why not? If a guy had 19, if a young player had 19 last year,
30-1 does seem high.
Yeah.
Not a bad flyer.
That's good.
Will a team go 0-16?
I don't think so.
Never happens. 35-1 for that. Will a team go 16-0? 40-1.
Nah.
That's not happening.
It's 12.
And then the Immaculate Champion. Will a team go 19-0, 150-1?
Can I bet that a team will go 19-0 but not go 16-0? I really think that's a good middle.
Do I go to the Super Bowl if the Pats make it?
Yeah, it's right down the street. It's in Tempe. It's not going to get any closer.
No, it's in Glendale.
Oh, Glendale. I'm sorry. I'll forget it then.
It's the scene of the crime.
You'll go.
I don't think I'll go.
I don't think you have to worry.
That's one of the 3 worst sports losses of my life.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Let's hear it. The other 2?
86 World Series. 87 Game 4 NBA Finals.
Oh, that was bad.
Magic Skyhook and Birdman's in the 3. That's probably second.
So you don't want to pick a Super Bowl winner?
San Diego 42-1.
Yeah.
Best odds.
I like that too. But aren't the Saints? I would throw the Saints in there.
They were 14-1.
14? Jump on it.
That's it?
Saints and Chargers. I think that's it. What was that, like an 8-minute podcast?
Now we're going to go to Vegas.
Let's go.
It's going to be great.
We really rushed
crab.
that last one.
Yeah, we did. Well, now, you know when I'm in Vegas and I walk faster than everybody else?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, why is he walking
that.
10 yards
Let's
ahead of
take
us?
our time.
I get excited.
We have to join the Super Contest.
We join the Super Contest. Cousin Sal.
All right.
Welcome. Oh, I should show off the porch pies. So
Let's take our pies to Vegas.
Thank you to Porch Pie for sponsoring the 2014 NFL Degenerate Gambling Preview. Thanks to Jacoby and Harlan and Carlos and Podcast Joe.
Good times.
Do you know we're opening a restaurant called Podcast Joe's?
We are?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
You and I are.
What
You're
is
investing.
And it's only porch pies?
No, it's Podcast Joe's. It's Sloppy Joe's.
Oh, I like
that. It's going to be the first Grantland restaurant.
I like
Podcast Joe's. It's not actually a restaurant, but we're thinking that's going to be the sponsor for the Bill and Jalen NBA preview.
Nice.
Podcast Joe's.
I'm there.
The best Sloppy Joe's in L.A. Thanks for listening. And the cousin and I, not only will we see you every Monday on the BS Report.
Yeah.
We are going to do Guess the Lines. It'll be year 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12. This will be year 8 for us. Guess the Lines. Yeah. Mm-hmm. One of America's favorite traditions. And you're going to be on Sports Center.
Can you believe that?
Every Friday.
Bill did have a little something to do with that.
No.
Oh,
you
come on.
No, come on.
Let's do it.
Every Friday, you're going to be on Sports Center in the 6 o'clock Sports Center. You're going to be picking 3 games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm allowed 6 racial slurs a week, which I have the best agent. I really do. So
you're picking games. There's never been more pressure on any picks you've ever done.
I'm going to be going crazy.
You're going to be. You don't need to gamble this year.
When Jimmy did it for Fox, I know. I keep telling myself.
You really don't. You need to put
nuts.
$1 on anything.
I know. I'm thinking all underdogs. I really
all
am.
3 games.
I think so.
Just 3 games. Then you're going to do like a special parlay
I'll do
or something.
Like a stupid thing at the end. Yeah.
So 3 games. So conceivably after week 8, you could be like 17-7 or something.
Yeah, that would be great.
And it'd be great. And people would be like, I want to see you Sal pick this week.
Oh, I'd get all the women in the world. 17-7. Have the Olivia Munns falling at my feet.
Be great. I can't wait. Good luck, buddy. Right, thanks for being on the podcast.
Good job.
I appreciate
I'm excited
it.
for this
Thanks to Porch Pies. Thanks to everybody. And we will see you at the start of the season.
Target percent off. Whoa.
Thank you for downloading the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at Podcenter at ESPNradio.com.
Peace out.
Hey, what you got there, Golick?
The new Subway Chipotle chicken melt with guacamole.
Man, that looks good.
Yeah, this new guac is really bringing the flavor.
Got one for me too, right?
Well, yes and no. Mostly no. Well, really, all no.
Try the irresistible new Subway Chipotle chicken melt with guacamole, juicy grilled chicken strips with Monterey cheddar, Chipotle Southwest sauce, and new guacamole made from ripe Hass avocados with just a hint of jalapeno. Subway, eat fresh.